Welcome in to the Box Score Network or the Triicky Takes podcast. This is a duo episode. This is our team of the month, which we've been doing every month here for baseball season on YouTube, and this week it's also going up on Triicky Takes podcast. So best of both worlds. If you're listening to it, I implore you to go check out the Box Score Network YouTube channel where you can watch this and all other good content, including the reaction to the trade that just went down with the Pittsburgh Steelers with our live Pittsburgh Steelers fan in-house with the Box Score Network. If you're watching and not listening, you've already noticed that there's a new face here. Welcome, Caleb, filling in for Billy.
What's up, boys? How we doing?
Doing good, doing good. Not your first time on the show. I don't even think it's your first team of the month. I think we've had
I
you
don't
fill
think so.
in a few
Think
years
so. I
ago.
think I've come and given my bad takes before.
Yeah, well, we pre-screened your takes this time, and we only had one or two things to say, and we ironed all those out off screen pre-show. So
We don't even have to yell at you on camera this time.
all beef pre-squashed,
Yeah.
just how we like it. Um, if you are used to seeing the videos of the home runs and stuff like that play, not happening this week. Get over it.
Sorry.
Not on us. Baseball Savant went down right as
Yeah.
we started to record. Caleb, you wearing that one?
Yeah, I'll wear that one.
I
Okay.
appreciate
We
it.
we really appreciate
Little
that one.
hands up accountability there from the kid.
Yeah. Production team, they let me down. So
Yeah.
that's on me.
Way to wear it. Way to wear it. So let's just get this kicked off. Caleb, I'll jump to you first. Please announce our catcher of the month. This one was real tough, I know.
Yes. The biggest, the largest, the fattest dumper, Cal Raleigh.
Yeah. I mean,
Let's go,
it's
Cal.
a big dumper all the way and breaking the record for home runs by a catcher before the All-Star game as well,
Mhm.
that had been around since the 70s, I think.
Hmm.
It was a long time. He's
Was
just
it a Johnny Bench record?
it
Who?
was a Johnny
Yeah.
Bench record. Yeah, all the way back in the Reds history there. I mean, Cal is probably just if he keeps up this pace, he'll be here every month, like without a question. So get used to hearing his name this season.
Yep.
Yeah, not too much to add. Just to run down of the stats, 11 home runs was four more than the next closest. 22 runs scored was, I think, seven more than the next closest. And 27 RBI was 10 more than the next closest. So
Oh,
just
and three stolen bases, which was two more than the next closest.
might as well throw in a couple bags, you know?
Yeah, why not?
Yeah,
Let's
no,
go.
they need to start walking that guy.
They do, yeah. Let's go ahead and move over to our next position, first base. This one, I think there actually was a little bit of talking pre-show about who we wanted to go with, but we ended up on Matt Olson here, who the power numbers, not great, only three home runs, but did supply a lot of other good stuff at the plate, including 14 runs scored, 21 RBI, a 16.2% walk rate to get him up to a 427 on base percentage, still slugged over 500, and is just an absolute madman defensively, which I know we don't really care about at first base. It's really just kind of the cherry on top. But if you look at his defensive metrics or first base defensive metrics in general, he is dominating defensively. He's gonna like sleep his way to a Gold Glove if he just plays average defense the rest of the year.
He might even be able to play below average and still get the Gold Glove. Talking about first baseman, but then like he definitely won it for us this month. But the other guy we wanted to shout out was Michael Bush of the Cubs. He did have more of the power numbers, having seven homers and 13 runs and 19 RBIs. Uh, Walks, he definitely walked about 5% lower at 11% and struck out a little bit lower. But where he really got beat was the defense and the on base percentage.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
tough decision, but Matt Olson won it out.
Yeah, and Austin knows better than anybody, being a Braves fan, that when Matt Olson is playing his best baseball, he's getting a lot of walks. He is just being the most annoying guy to pitch to because if it's a centimeter off the plate, he's not even looking at it and just making you put it in the zone and he's going to smack it. And he wasn't doing that first part of the year, really getting it going now. And I'm glad to see it.
Yeah. He also fouls a lot of balls straight back. Like you don't see too many guys just foul him straight back like Matt does. It's pretty impressive.
I would love to know what his average pitches per at bat is
Yeah, it's got to be
because
up.
it feels like he works a lot of counts.
He
Mhm.
does. Which is great to have him hitting right behind Ronald, who just
Oh
either
yeah,
ambushes the first pitch or sees like a seven pitch at bat. It's never anything in between.
no, no.
Um,
Moving on now to second base. I think this was another incredibly easy one for everybody. Ketel Marte, who again was 9 home runs, so two higher than anyone else in the position, 24 runs, 24 ribbies, only a 19% K rate, and then that 330, 414, and then 650 on the slugging for the slash line. So just another outstanding performance from a guy that you kind of expect that from, and from a team that has really needed a guy to step up and be that big bat. So
Yeah, he's dealt with some injuries earlier this year. Glad to see him back in the lineup this consistently and looking great from both sides of the plate. I know he was a little bit better against, I think it was righties like the first parts of this season, but like he's really, I mean, probably the one of the best switch hitting batters of our time over the last few years. He's had his played his best baseball, which is crazy because like think about how long this guy's been relevant and good in the league. Um, Heck of a June.
yeah, and he had that whole fiasco with him. Like, everything happens. He's in tears on the field. Nobody knows what's going
Hmm.
on. Comes out. Somebody said something about his mom. I don't want to get into that too much, but if you don't know what I'm talking about, I implore you to go take a look into it and see what happened and come to your own opinion on uh, whether the guy should have been kicked out and banned from the stadium. But that is what happened. And Marte was able to play really good baseball even after that. Didn't really shake him up too much. But yeah, he is. I mean, I think he's the best second baseman in baseball right now. Pretty hands down, I think.
Hmm.
yeah, it's not particularly close.
No. Caleb, why don't you take us to shortstop?
Yeah, so at shortstop, this was probably the toughest position this
Yeah,
month, just
I
because there
agree.
were a f quite a few who had really good months, and none of them just like stood out among the others. But we ended up going with Trey Turner. Trey Turner had just an incredible month for the Phillies, in a month where we see Bryce Harper go down with an injury, and we need one of the other vets to really step up. And he did it on the bases, stealing a bunch of bags, hitting homers, and just really helping his team win here. So we're gonna give the nod to Trey here.
Yeah. So what it boiled down to for the shortstop position was the defense. It is one of those premier defensive positions we talk about with shortstops and center fields just about every month. And while Ellie did have better just pure batting numbers, the defense is so much worse compared to Trey Turner, who is a league best defensive shortstop. So we had to give him the edge because the hitting numbers were better by Ellie, but they were so close between the two of them that that defense is really what made the deciding factor.
Yeah, Trey Turner's an interesting case defensively. Eye test, he doesn't look that good, but he just gets to so many balls so easily that a lot of guys wouldn't. His OAA, which is mostly a range-based stat, outs above average, he just gets to so many baseballs that other guys just wouldn't even get to in most cases. And that really helps his defensive metrics. Unfortunately, his arm isn't, all that great. But like Ellie's is incredible. I think Ellie's arm makes up for a lot of other problems he has defensively, but Ellie's going to figure it out defensively someday, I hope, and just become an all-around superstar, but still waiting for that day to happen. Turner's still getting it done. And I believe today is his birthday, or yesterday was one of the two. He just turned 32 or 33. So happy birthday, Trey.
Hey, happy birthday, Trey.
You are our shortstop of the month.
Shortstop of the month.
All right, let's move over to third base, which we did have a slight discussion about. It was really down to two people. when it all came down to it, and that was Eugenio Suarez versus Max Muncy. We ended up on the Eugenio Suarez side, which I know when you look at on base percentage, he had over 100 less points of on base percentage, which is tough. I'll give it to you. But when you're looking at the lineup construction that each of these guys are hitting in, and Max Muncy moving up and down in the lineup a lot based on handedness of pitcher and who he's got behind him and things like that. It's just a lot easier, we thought, for Muncy to put up the numbers he put up relatively to what Eugenio Suarez is being asked to do, basically kind of carrying this Diamondbacks offense right now. And his numbers were really good. Like I don't want to make it sound like he didn't have good numbers because he hit 315 with a 350 on base, a 728 slug. His OPS was almost a 1.1, and you don't really care about defense when it comes to third most of the time, unless you're talking about like a Machado or an Arenado level defense guy. But that is neither Muncy nor Suarez, so that didn't really come into to play. But the real number when you're talking about Eugenio is the home runs. I mean, the dude's just mashes 11 bombs. So that's really what it came down to when we're talking about a big power third baseman was you kind of want the guy who mashes. So that's where we went.
Yeah. And to put that in perspective of why Austin mentioned that Eugenio is carrying that team offensively, he hit 11 home runs. He scored only 13 times in the month. So,
With 27 RBI, it's like
yeah.
he is carrying.
Yeah. So it's
Yeah.
really just him and Cattell right now that
Yeah,
are,
Catel's on base for those RBIs.
yeah.
Yes.
I think Cattell might have scored half of those, but I mean, it's crazy how big of an impact those two are having for that team.
Hmm.
With Corbin Carroll, I mean, he started out the year tremendously and then injury bug and just sort of not there to perform right now.
They're a team I'm big on in July, though. I'll say that.
I like that.
They got a really easy schedule coming up. People getting healthy. I think they get hot. So
All
keep
right,
it
take
up,
us to the
Eugenio.
outfield, Connor.
All right. So, as always, we're starting in center field. And we did go with Byron Buxton in center field. So, I mean, 9 homers, 17 runs, 21 ribbies, the 3.46 slash line. And I mean, even if you go into his advanced stats, he's again almost at a 1.1 OPS. I mean, yes, the defense is not quite the same as some guys like what PCA has been able to do and like Rafaela for the Boston. I mean, these are guys that definitely have better defense, but when all of your hitting stats are so much better, it kind of makes it an easy way to overlook a little bit of the defensive trouble. Is not saying Byron is a bad defensive center fielder by any stretch, but he's not a top tier guy. And so we decided to overlook that just a little bit because the hitting numbers were just so outstanding this month.
Caleb, I know
Yeah.
you were really pulling for Sedan.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a Red Sox fan, so I am biased, but I just like I think the Red Sox are maybe, I don't know what it is now. I think it's 5-10 since the Devers trade. Bad trade, by the way. Um, but I think all five of those games that we have won, like it's Rafael in the clutch with the bat and in the field, like just making like it's hard to quantify with numbers, just like I know we have all these like stats that defensive runs saved and WAR, like to actually calculate how important a player is for winning. But like, there's just some stuff that's not quite quantifiable. And he's like really was just making like the play at the perfect time every time. So, but looking at Buxton's numbers, like you definitely have to give him the bump. I mean, looking at 1.8 WAR accumulated in the month of June, like compared to 1.2 for Rafaela, I definitely think Buxton deserves it. So.
Yeah, Byron actually had the most WAR of any outfielder over our two corner outfielders who both were Juan Soto and Ronald Acuna Jr., who are, both had absolute monster months in the outfield.
Yeah. Now, Austin, being our resident stat guy, is there a clutch time stat that we could potentially look at? Is there anything that
The
tries to
Aaron Judge
quantify that?
stat.
Yeah. So I like to look at win probability added sometimes. So you can look at WPA and see like when a player is or how much a player is contributing to a win. And if we sort WPA by outfield, Byron Buxton actually second most, which it's not just talking about clutch, it's basically all performance, but how much
Hmm.
that goes into actually going on a win. And there is a clutch number here too, which I don't love. I think it elevates those guys who have lower stats as a baseline. That's the problem with clutch stats. If you have a guy who's really bad, but just has a tendency to get a knock in a big moment, he's going to have a really high clutch because he outperforms his baseline. But if you have a really high performing baseline and you just are at that baseline, which is really good, you're going to be seen as not clutch because you just
Hmm.
perform at your baseline. You don't elevate your game. But when you're an Aaron Judge level performer, it's so impossible to ask somebody to elevate themselves above that. So I think that's
Yeah.
sort of the problem right now with like clutch stats. But yeah, like you can see right now, I just sorted it by the month. Byron Buxton is seventh with clutch, right behind Michael Harris the second, who is was absolutely abysmal. But I guess just does have it, and I can tell you for watching games, does have a tendency to get his hits, as few they are, in times where it matters. So he's seen as kind of clutch, even though I would absolutely take Buxton over Harris any day. We're talking about their offense right now.
Hmm. Yeah.
Anyways, Acuna and Soto. I really don't know what to say about these guys other than they both just had absolutely incredible months. I think it's slightly more impressive for Acuna considering this is his first month back playing baseball since he tore his ACL last year. And he came out and it hit to a 360 average with a 491 on base, legitimately almost a 500 on base percentage. And then also walked over a 20% rate, uh, coming back and immediately like I feel like plate discipline is one of the more difficult things to sort of get back in the rhythm of, especially for a
Absolutely.
guy who only saw a couple games in the minors, didn't have a spring training or anything like that to see a bunch of live pitching, really just kind of thrown into the fire and just was like, hey, I'm back. And then Soto, again, not too much to say other than just one of his best months. I think it was his second highest OPS in a single month, almost a 1.2, I think. And that was his second best OPS in a single month of his career. And that's really impressive because he has had a lot of really good months in his career. And to almost top them all this June was really impressive. So, not too much to say. Do you guys have anything to add to that?
Just that, don't think that Acuna's sample size was small at being an almost 500 on base percentage. I mean, he had 112 at bats,
Yeah.
so he was up at the plate a lot, and you really it's hard to comprehend that batter's eye. I watch like the umpire cam sometimes
Hmm.
and see that, and watching the ball come in is absurd. So the fact that they're able to just bounce right back and do that makes it even more impressive.
Yeah. And Ronald Acuna Jr.'s team vibes added plus um for
Incalculable.
this
Yeah,
for this
it's
one. Like, dude, I'm telling you, I watched the Braves probably the team I watched the second most behind the Red Sox. Um, dude, brutal watch for the first few months. Like without Ronald, this team was just like lifeless at the plate. Like you can really tell that this team's got a different energy about them, and another team I think will have a pretty good July.
Hmm.
Get things going. Like, yeah,
And I'm
having
super
Acuna
excited
back
to
in
see him in
that.
the home run derby too.
oh yeah,
Yeah,
in
I mean, dude,
Atlanta.
he hits baseball so hard.
It's crazy.
Yeah, he might go oppo with every single one.
Yeah, he could. He absolutely could. All right. Before we run out of time here, let's go ahead and hop over to DH, where Yandy Diaz ended up claiming our spot over Shohei Ohtani, dethroning the king. But Yandy hit 400 on the month, guys. What are we talking about? Like this is ridiculous.
Yeah,
400 batting average with over a 600 slugging percentage. Uh,
Yeah.
walking almost 10% of the time, striking out only 12% of the time. The power numbers are there, 5 home runs. Obviously, want these guys who have close to double digits, but Yandy's never really been a power guy. That's really not what he's made his career on. And yeah, 5 home runs while batting 400. I'll take that every single month.
Yeah. And granted, Shohei had a down month, but the fact that it Yandy put up numbers of this caliber, it would have taken a lot for it to be beaten by Shohei. So we're not trying to take away from what Yandy did. This would have beat Shohei in quite a few months, I feel like.
Hmm.
Yeah, and we can all just be happy that we have a team of the month for once that doesn't have Ohtani and Judge in it. It's
Yeah.
okay. That's fine. They're gonna win 5 MVPs each, and that's okay.
Yeah, they
Uh,
are a staple. I wonder
Yeah.
if we go back on all the ones we've done for the past
it's got to be
This
what's
might
like
be the
third year
first
now,
35.
time that they've both not been on it.
while they're
And
both
Really.
healthy.
Yeah, while
yeah,
both healthy.
yeah, and I guess one more thing I want to add about Yandy, like the Rays scheduling was set up to where they had a ton of home games earlier in the season, because it literally rains every day in Tampa, June and July, and they're in an open stadium now. So like I think probably they had like 20 away games in June, and like to be able to like stay hot, get hot, stay hot, like looking at different batters' eyes, traveling every day or every few days, like compared to like having extended long home stretches where you can like get hot and put up crazy numbers for like a 4 game series. Um, I think it's also a very impressive part of it.
Hmm. Starting pitcher, Connor, why don't you give us the rundown? Who this came down to two guys, if
It
I
did.
remember correctly.
Yeah. So this was between Jacob DeGrom and Zach Wheeler. And so
Titans,
I know, like this
both
is,
former Mets as well, together
yeah,
teammates.
yeah, neither on the Mets anymore. But these were guys that they five starts each, 31 to 32 innings. It really came down to the quality starts because everything else was right there in line. So we did go with DeGrom because all five of his starts were quality starts. And so, like, the numbers are all very, very close. The only thing that really has a big gap, I would say, is the Ks per nine, where Wheeler has him beat 12 to 9. So it's everything else is so marginal that we had to stick with something and figure it out. And so we had to look at all the starts. Wheeler had a 5 inning start, and that kind of threw everything off for him.
Yeah, and I think definitely a lot of people were high on the Rangers this year, and it was because, you know, can we get a full season from DeGrom at this point in his career? Seeing him put up these kind of numbers in a month is like so fun for a guy like me who has loved DeGrom for so many years, just because of how dominant he is on the mound. And like watching his starts earlier in the season, he just didn't really like look like DeGrom, like the DeGrom we know that just goes out there and makes hitters look silly.
Just
He got a little
lighting
bit
up
of that.
glove side.
Yeah, and he got a little bit of that fire back this month, and like he's really looking back. Like it's hard to say in his prime because prime DeGrom is just different entirely, but for sure, like performing at the highest level he can right now, and it's a lot of fun to watch.
I do
Yeah,
miss like
I
the
was running through some of the basic numbers. It's ridiculous how similar they are. Like you said, both 5 starts, 5 quality starts for DeGrom, 4 for Wheeler. Innings pitched, only one difference. Batters face, only a difference to 4. DeGrom had 3 less hits, 1 more run, 1 less home run, 1 less walk, the same amount of hit by pitches, and Wheeler had 10 more strikeouts on the month, which is the real big gap there, and that's why it came down to so close. But the other thing, and I know we talk about wins aren't a pitcher stat, but DeGrom did go 4-0 in his 5 starts, and Wheeler went 2-1. So it really was splitting hairs between these guys. It was as tight of a coin flip as you can have.
I mean, it's you hate you love and hate when there's months that are this close because
Yeah.
there's so much discussion that we have before we get on here to really lock these in sometimes. I mean, because I think we were on for about 40 minutes before we pressed record tonight, talking about going back and forth on some of these guys, which can be very fun, but also a bit tedious.
All right, Caleb, take us home with our relief pitcher of the month.
Somehow, some way, in the year of our Lord 2025, the relief pitcher of the month is the Cuban Missile, Aroldis Chapman.
Yes, sir.
Incredible.
He did it.
Absolutely incredible.
Not a single earned run in what, 11 appearances total?
12
12
appearances.
appearances, 12 appearances. I wasn't super excited about the signing as a Red Sox fan, but holy cow, this guy has been so good at the back end for this team. And he didn't get used quite as much towards the end of the month because like his usage was just getting absurd for his age. Like it was gonna be like we're gonna have to shut him down if we don't figure this out. So, but yeah, I mean, just coming in and just like nobody's even touching his stuff right now. Like it's a foul ball here and there, but like I've watched him go in so many times in a row without really seeing any hard contact, which is not something we saw the last few years from him. Um, but heck of a June, and really glad to say that there is a Red Sox player on this list somehow.
Yeah, and a guy in the bullpen, no less. We
Yeah,
haven't. I don't know if
Abysmal
we've had a
bullpen.
Red Sox reliever in the team of the month yet.
yeah.
We've
You
been
guys
doing
were
this for
doing this podcast when
two.
Papelbon was playing, right?
Yeah,
I feel like Kenley had a good month one time
yeah,
as a
but
Red
he
He was
Sox.
didn't make
streaky
it.
there.
Yeah, if we had been back in like 2018, Craig Kimbrell
Yeah.
or something, he may have gotten in there. But
No, dude,
well,
Cookie Craig was he never had a good enough month for the Red Sox, I don't think. But yeah, Aroldis, man.
yeah,
Yeah, I mean, really good stuff. 6 saves plus a hold. 37 batters face, 19 of those strikeouts. So over half of them, of the batters he's facing, are striking out, and only 2 walks and 2 hits. So only 4 batters reaching base there on him out of the 37. So just a really dominant month. Reliever's always a super tough one because it's such a small sample size. But I think when it came down to it, he was the correct pick. And we all three kind of came to that conclusion independently. No bias detected either.
Hmm.
I know. It's
Yeah, it
it's
was
nice when that
close.
works out.
It was close. I almost went Rysel Iglesias, um, but just couldn't do it.
No,
The
yeah.
other two main ones I was looking at were Brian Abreu and David Bednar. They
Yeah,
they both had great months, but Aroldis having more counting stats and no runs allowed pushed it over the edge for me.
yeah. I didn't think I would hear the name David Bednar today, and I'm upset about that.
But he had a great month. I mean, if you look at the
David
numbers,
Bednar
so
might be Caleb's largest op.
He's up there. He's up there, dude. And you know what? Paul Skeens would have about 7 more career wins if he didn't exist.
oh,
That's
absolutely.
So,
fair. That's fair. All right.
Nice.
Well,
Yeah,
we're rolling up here on the 30-minute mark, so let's get out of here. Do y'all have anything else to add for Team of the Month?
I'm good.
Cool. All
well,
right. Well, thank you so much, Caleb, for joining. Tell the people where they can catch more of you.
yeah, no problem. You can go on X, Twitter, whatever it's called, at Sushi Bet. I post about sports and stuff there. Um, other than that, don't catch me anywhere.
All
Appreciate it.
right. Thanks, Caleb, for joining,
Thanks,
as
Clip.
Yep.
always. And shout out Billy. Hopefully, he's back in a few weeks. But it'll be Connor and I rolling. So stay tuned for more Tricky Takes. We'll catch you next time.
Peace out.
See you.